All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Saturday, July 20th. We got 16 MLB games to dive into in today's video. We are coming at you a little bit from Hangover Central here, but like we always do, guys, we're going to go through each and every one of these games. I'm going to give you my lean on the side. I'll give you my lean on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the games as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye on the pinned comment of this video. That is where all of my final plays, what I'm actually rolling with myself. If you do want to fade me, all those plays are going to be in that pinned comment. So go ahead and check that out. Yesterday, not a night to fade. We go 4-1. I'll take the cha-ching, but we were that close, man. We were that close, this close to a sweep. The Phillies, they end up winning the first 5, which is great. That cashed. But late in the game, boom, Pirates go on top. So tough to see that. But 4-1 night, we're back, baby. We come back to the MLB. We pick up right where we left off. We are now 9-2 in our last 11 plays. So you know what? We'll take another cha-ching there. Unfortunately, the ride of the day comes up just shy. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, I'll explain it in just a second. But we had a parlay of the Royals, Tigers, and Mets money line. The Mets, man. They end up blowing this one. But shout out to MJ's Sports Pick here. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, all you got to use is that hashtag ride of the day in the comments. I look for the most liked ride of the day comments. So make sure you guys are down there liking the comments, interacting, because there's some great plays, better than some of my plays in the comments. And we ride with the play that gets the most likes. And if you win, you continue your streak. And we continue to ride with you. If you lose, we got to face the womp womp there. But I did like this parlay. Unfortunately, does not come through. Even throwing the Tigers in there as underdogs was a ballsy pick. That one cashed. We cashed that as well. But nonetheless, the ride of the day does not come through. Shout out to my guys over at Cisco for saying hi yesterday. I love when, I'm out and about and someone says like, hey, never fade this guy, or what's up, Ev? So shout out to you guys. I really do appreciate that. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into today's video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's jump in. We got Atlanta taking on St. Louis. This is the first leg of a doubleheader here. Honestly, I tell you guys all the time, I'm not the biggest doubleheader bettor in general. Like, I feel like they're wonky, they're weird. This is probably a spot, though, where I see St. Louis potentially being able to pull out one of these. So if you can get St. Louis, on the money line for plus money both times, that's probably how I'd play it. But at least in this first one here, in terms of pitching, we have Kyle Gibson going up against Charlie Morton. Both these pitchers are serviceable. I think this comes down to the offense. St. Louis's offense against righties, both these guys being righties, against righties is way better than Atlanta's been against righties over the last 30 days. Atlanta's offense, at some point, I'm waiting for them to kind of pick it up. I know they have, injuries that they're dealing with on both sides, but overall, their offense just has not been there. I don't like the idea of betting St. Louis, but you are getting a plus money next to that number. So for both these doubleheaders, my lean's probably going to be, St. Louis on the money line, hoping that they win one of them. And that'll get you, profit either way. I think they're plus 100 in the second game and plus 120-ish in this game. So, if they win one of those, you should at least break even or make profit. But, yeah, not to blow through it, but I just don't really love betting doubleheaders. I'd take the under in this one as well. I still trust a little bit of the pitching, and St. Louis being the better offense says a lot, right? Like, if the Braves aren't going to put up a bunch of runs, then I don't think this one goes up and over. Next up, we got the Yanks taking on the Tampa Bay Rays here. On the mound is going to be Nestor Cortez going up against Taj Bradley. We have a tale of two different, tapes here, whatever the hell the saying is. Nestor Cortez has been really, really good at home. Taj Bradley, decent season, been pretty damn bad on the road on the season. I think obviously both these guys have spots in which they've been really good and really bad. But overall, I think there's a huge pitching advantage for the Yankees. They got the 6-1 win yesterday as well, so I have to lean towards New York in this spot. That price is a little sketchy, minus 155. I'm kind of, tempted to. It almost seems like a trap. I think the Yankees, based on their offense and based on their pitching here, should be really good. But I say that in the same breath, I can also say, Tampa Bay's offense against lefties, their bats have been pretty damn hot against lefties. So overall, I could see a path if you really do want to take a flyer on, Tampa Bay. But to me, with this pitching advantage, again, Taj Bradley been pretty damn bad on the road. Cortez nails at home. I'm thinking this should have been like it was yesterday at minus 170, minus 175, minus 180. The fact that we could see the Yankees at minus 150-ish, a little bit of a trap there, but I could end up pulling the trigger on the Yankees money line. In terms of the total, I'm going to trust Cortez to kind of keep the Rays bats a little suppressed, because I think a lot of people today might make the argument the Rays are dominating lefties over the last 30. They are. but I still don't trust this lineup altogether, right? So I think for a total, I might look at the Tampa Bay Rays team total under, depending on what you can get that at, and the odds there as well. But I don't know if I'd go full. I don't ever want to take an under here if the Yankees offense is finally going to start clicking again against 6 runs yesterday. So I'm not going full game under. I would just go like Tampa Bay team total under if I were to play this. All right, next up, it's a tough one. We got Toronto taking on Detroit. Obviously, Detroit cashes for us yesterday at plus 102. Not the biggest plus money play, but still a plus money cash for us. Did I mention we went 4-1 yesterday? But overall here, like I said, this is a tough one because you have Kikichi on the mound for Toronto, going up against Reese Olson. Both these guys, obviously very, I would say, above average pitchers here. Kikichi's been really good at home. He's also very good against lefties, which I'm not going to say that there's a bunch of lefties in this Detroit lineup. I think there's like 2 or 3, so maybe you kind of pull back from Kikichi there, but overall still a very good pitcher, right? My biggest concern for Detroit here, because I think Detroit does have the better bat, but they're terrible at hitting fastballs, and if you know anything about Kikuchi, whatever the hell his name is, right? I can't even pronounce my own name. He's going to throw 65% fastballs. We can even jump into the dashboard here. You'll see it here. 64.9% fastballs. Look at Detroit up here. 30th in runs above average against fastballs over the last 30 days. From a Reese Olson perspective, he's going to throw fastball, sinker, slider, and changeup. Fastball, sinker, slider, changeup. So obviously, Toronto's not the best in the world, either world class at hitting these pitches, but a fourth of the time, they're top 10 here against that fastball. So in terms of a pitching matchup here, I do think Kikichi has a little bit of an edge, which is unfortunate because I wanted to roll with Detroit plus money again, but I don't think that I can get there today. So this will probably be Toronto first 5 money line. I don't think I want to, tempt their bullpen here, so I'm going to go first 5 money line. In terms of the total, I'd lean slightly towards the under, but maybe a first 5 under if we can get it at like 4.5, because I do trust both Reese Olson and Kikuchi. I just don't trust either bullpen, and especially not the Jays bullpen overall. All right, Oakland taking on the Angels here. Much like yesterday, I don't care all too much about this series. In this spot, we have Jack Kokowicz, right? Is that how you say his name? Going up against Mitch Spence. I would lean towards Oakland here in this spot, but you'd never catch me betting Oakland at minus 130 odds. You know what I mean? So overall, I could see a path for, some psychos out there to bet the A's. But to me, you have a pitching advantage, and I guess you have an offensive advantage because the Angels have been terrible against righties over the last 30 days, and Oakland's kind of mediocre. So, yeah, that'll be the spot. Yesterday was a ridiculous high-scoring game, right? It was like 42-90 or something like. It's like a football score yesterday. But give me Oakland on the money line. Probably not betting it myself. Actually, definitely not betting it myself. In terms of the total, I don't trust the Angels to score many runs, but who knows what the A's can do. Like I said, they scored a million runs yesterday. Now I'm in like football brain. I'll lean towards the over, but again, not to. I'm just being transparent with you guys. Not the best series, not my favorite series, on the board or anything like that. All right, Miami taking on the Mets, and I had the question yesterday. I was like, why were the Mets, sitting at, minus 120 or whatever it was, and they end up losing the game 6-5, 6-4, somewhere in that range. And yeah, it's interesting because I thought they had the better pitcher yesterday, the better bullpen, the better bats. Like, they checked all the boxes. Still lost the game. So shows these odds makers know what they're doing most of the time. But today should be a different story. We have Luis Severino on the mound for the Mets, going up against Roderick Frankie Munoz. And obviously Miami, like if we just jump into the dashboard again real quick, look at this. Red. It just should be a Mets play all day long, but they're kind of priced out here at this point. Minus 165 on FanDuel. Like, that's as far as I would go playing them. I don't even know if I would bite the bullet of minus 165, but I don't mind the Mets here. I don't mind them first 5 money line or first 5 run line if you need to get really good odds. So for the first 5 run line here, you can get them at, pulling it up right now, you can get them at minus 115 over on ESPN Bet. So not exactly the worst odds there if you believe that they'll be ahead by the end of the first 5, which you're pretty much targeting Severino versus Munoz, right? So I don't mind that play. In terms of a total here in this spot, I like the Mets to score runs today off Roderick Munoz. I don't know about Miami, so I'm kind of in, I would say Miami team total under / Mets team total over. So one of those could be the play, but I don't think these two teams sync up for an over or under either way. So if I were to play it, it'd either be Mets team total over or Miami team total under. And then a quick player prop that I'm considering would be Josh Bell, either under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, or under 1.5 bases if you could snag that. I like to fade Josh Bell after he has a decent game. Yesterday, I think he had a hit and an RBI, so he did hit the over, but he hasn't really gone back-to-back doing that in like a month. So I like his under today. It is juiced at -145 right now over on DraftKings, but I like the matchup. I like the fact that he went over yesterday because he snaps back pretty damn quick. So there's a little player prop there. Keep an eye on the pin comment to see if we end up rolling with that. And guys, the way that I do find these player props is by using Outlier. If you're an OG of the channel, you've heard me talk about Outlier for, almost 2 years now because I love this tool so much and I believe that they are the best in the market at the best price. It is a great tool for, one, if you just want to come in here and get some trending plays right off the rip, right? Or if you want to do what I do and dig into the prop screen where every prop offered out there on all the books, you can even filter to which books you want, including Prize Picks and Underdog and that type of thing, right? But you can go in, Tyro Estrada, right? Under 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Okay, he's hit the under 9 of his last 10 games against this opponent dating back, I think, a few years here. He's actually gone over plenty on the season, last year, last 5, last 10, last 20, all that stuff. You can even go down and get some advanced analytics here against lefties on the season, batting 193. It lights up green because it helps the play, right? It means, we're looking good for this pick. You can even see the pitcher, so Kyle Freeland against right-handed batters. Okay, well, his average is up a little bit. His ERA does drop. That's great. You can even get to the pitch level of fastball, sinker, cutter, slider, changeup. How does Estrada face against those, right? So I do think that this is probably the best way to find player props out there because if you're like me, a lot of the times you're heading in here and you're saying, okay, there's so many plays on the board. Where do we start? Look at, you go to player props, you press last 10, all of a sudden these are trending plays right here. You can look at the odds, see what makes sense. You can even filter around. All this to say, go check out Outlier, guys. I have a link in the pinned comment. You're going to get 7 days free just by using that link. It obviously supports me too if you do use the link, so go ahead and check it out. Just get that 7-day free trial. The worst thing that happens is all of a sudden you're going to be hooked and you'll be like, damn, I'm paying for this. And it's probably super expensive, right? Wrong. It's $19.99 per month for what I just showed you in the video here. So definitely well worth it. If you cash a couple plays, it's going to pay for itself. You know what I mean? So go check out Outlier. That link is in the pinned comment. Again, 7-day free trial with that link. You don't need a code or anything like that. All right, Pirates taking on the Phillies. We split, a unit between Phillies' first 5 run line and full game money line. Yesterday, only one of those cashes, the first 5 run line. I like the Phillies again in this spot today. Maybe we look at them again first 5 because obviously, they could have won that game yesterday. They got to Perez very early. The Pirates ended up scoring runs late in the game, so it's like, all right, well, we kind of are on the right side of that one. Still took an L, right? The money still comes out of our pocket. But overall today, I do think Ortiz on the mound going up against Chris Sanchez. Sanchez has been pretty damn bad on the road this season, but I'm still going to trust him because if he can just do him, right, like just kind of be an average pitcher today, the Phillies offense should be able to get to Ortiz in this spot. So I'm not necessarily backing, Christopher Sanchez. I am fading Luis Ortiz, so and kind of backing the Phillies bats in this spot. So I like this spot for them. For what it's worth, in 38 plate appearances against this current Pittsburgh Pirates roster, Sanchez has a average against of 212, an expected batting average against of 167, an xWOBA of 233, and an X slugging of 203. So though he's on the road, that's where he struggled this season, he should have some decent spots, some damn good spots, honestly, against this Pirates roster. So I like the Phillies here. It'd probably be first 5 run line again to get some good odds. In fact, I can pull that up really quickly so we know the odds that we're talking about here. First 5 run line, we'd be looking at Phillies -0.5, -110 over on ESPN. So damn good odds there too as well. In terms of the total, Phillies team total over is probably what I'd be looking at here. We saw a high-scoring game yesterday. Phillies obviously scored a bunch of runs, even though they ultimately get the L. I'd probably look for them to get a few runs here early and then continue to get runs against that Pittsburgh bullpen, which is, bottom 5 bullpen from an ERA and WHIP perspective on the season. One player prop that I'm considering here, it is a guy that hit his over yesterday, but we're looking at an under today. We'll jump into Outlier so I can show you. Here we go. Andrew McCutchen, under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. You could look at it from a total basis perspective too if you like that, but he's been crushing that, and it is pretty damn juice. So under hits, runs, and RBIs here for him, you can see up against left-handed pitchers, right? Batting 195 on the season. He has 5 plate appearances against Sanchez. Nothing so far. 20% K rate as well. Sanchez, his batting average against jumps a little bit. The WOBA jumps a little bit. Nothing that I'm all too concerned with. And even from a pitch perspective here, sinker, he looks good, right? So does the change. You get into the slider, you get into the cutter, like kind of middle of the pack. So if you're us to get plus 100 odds on pretty much this, batting sub 200, against left-handed pitchers. For us to get plus 100 odds, I do think that that is, somewhat of a value play here. And the great thing about Outlier, I should have said this earlier, right? You can dig into this pick. You can say, okay, DraftKings, open it up. You can scan it on your phone or open it up. I'm not sure if I'm logged in. Maybe I am. But it's literally going to throw it into your slip right here, which is absolutely awesome. So you don't even have to go digging for this play. Outlier throws it right into that sportsbook as well. So another plus of Outlier. But Andrew McCutchen under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, also a play that I'm considering. All right, next up, we got Washington taking on Cincinnati. Mackenzie Gore on the bump for Washington, going up against Nick Lodolo. I always love saying that name. Mackenzie Gore has not been all that great. Lodolo's actually been decent. Last 5 ERA here, 2.4, averaging over 5 strikeouts per game. I do like his spot. I could also see both these guys, getting some degree hit today because they throw in majority fastballs. So if they're in there long enough, they'll get hit. But I do think that there's a little bit of an advantage here from Nick Lodolo, who on the season, on the road, 0.73 whip, 2.95 FIP. You're probably like, well, that's, not exactly his XFIP, right? XFIP is right there too, 3.12. Batting average against at 159, K rate of 31%, and a walk rate of 4.1. So if you really want to put a bright star and stick it on your fridge here for Nick Lodolo, it's going to say pitching on the road. So I like his spot. Again, concerns me that both these guys are just going to throw fastballs. But overall, I think that we have a slightly better offense in Cincinnati, a pitcher that may be in a better spot, and a better bullpen. So this game's pretty much a pick 'em to begin with. But if I'm picking them, I'm going with the Reds here for near even odds. Both these teams, again, you can get, depending on the sportsbook you shop at, get them at like minus 105, minus 102, that type of thing. But I like the Reds in this spot. Yesterday, I was talking about how I don't really love this matchup or anything like that, for this whole series. But I do think that there's a little bit of a Lodolo advantage here over Gord. I think that there's a little bit of an offensive advantages too. So there's a chance that I roll with Reds money line in the pinned comments. Keep an eye on it. In terms of a total, we might have missed a couple totals so far in today's video now that I think about it, but I like the under for the Washington team total. I don't think that I don't want to ask the Reds to go out there and score a minimum of 5 runs for me to take a nice little play on their team total over. But like I said, I think Lodolo could be in a good spot today. I'm fading the Washington bats, so I'll lean towards the under team total for the Nationals. I would say team total over for the Reds, but again, I'm kind of backing Lodolo more than anything in this spot. So I'm not exactly thrilled with the Reds bats. They are just a little bit better than the Nationals. Real quick, guys, like I mentioned, I might have missed a couple totals here now that I'm going through it, and I'm like, what did we say about that total? I think we missed a couple, but if you have any questions like that, obviously jump in the Discord, jump in the comments here on YouTube, and I'm sure either me or someone will be able to give you their opinion on the total. So apologies if I missed a couple. Like I said, a little groggy this morning, late night last night, so we're all human, right? All right, Texas taking on Baltimore. This one ends 9-1 yesterday, and I think that's kind of how I said it, right? I was like, I just don't know if I can fade these Orioles bats. I wanted to get the Valdi, wanted to get the Texas, but obviously Baltimore off to the races. Didn't get 4 or 5 runs in the first inning. Then they scored in the 5th, then they scored in the 7th. Like, they kind of scored all game long. Texas puts up 1 run in the second inning. So obviously Corbin Burns ends up doing his thing as well. He pitched, 6 innings, a 2-hitter, 1 earned run with 6 or 7 Ks. So Orioles did their job. I think that I like them again today. Scherzer's on the mound for Texas. He's been good at home. I understand that, but I really don't want to fade Baltimore's bats right now. Last 30 days, if we jump into the dashboard here. By the way, guys, I've shown this a couple times. If you want access to this dashboard, just become a channel member right here on YouTube. There should be a big join button underneath the video. There's also a link in the description if you want to click that. $2.99 a month, you get this. $2.99 per month, you get this dashboard daily. So go ahead and check that out. And it also obviously supports me too. So I think you're getting a lot. Every single game broken down from a pitcher, a batting, bullpen down here. We have the batting against certain pitches and the pitcher's pitch mix. A lot of stuff that I think you guys will find value in if you do choose to support. So what I was trying to show here is this Baltimore offense here, the bats, I just can't fade right now. 6th best in terms of versus righties in the last 30 days when an average comes around here. WRC plus 4th, K rate 5th. They're not striking out much, which is obviously a big thing for Scherzer, right? OPS, ISO, slugging, all these numbers looking pretty good too. So especially on the road, actually, against righties. So definitely worth considering Baltimore today. It's decent odds too, because you have Grayson Rodriguez on the mound going up against Scherzer. So, a lot of people are probably going to jump to Texas and say that there's a, pitching advantage there, which I don't know if I fully see it. So give me Baltimore here for minus 115 odds. I think you're getting them at a very good price. In terms of the total, I'm going to lean towards the over. I think the way the Baltimore Orioles win this game is by scoring more runs in Texas, obviously, but I mean like a decent amount more. And if the Texas Rangers do get to Grayson Rodriguez, then hell, more runs the better, you know what I mean? So I'll lean towards the over 8 in this spot as well. All right, Cleveland taking on San Diego. This is one of our cashes. Yesterday we had the Nerfy in this spot, and it did cash. And I kind of like the Nerfy again. It was 7-0 Cleveland, but again 0-0 after 1. This is going to be a tough spot for me to back Cleveland, though, just due to the fact that they have Gavin Williams on the mound, who on the season at home, no matter how you want to break it up, hasn't looked all that great. Going up against Dylan Cease, who is obviously what I would consider a better pitcher than Williams. So tough to kind of get to the Guardian side of things. But I don't know if I love backing San Diego. But I think that's where the money line lean's going to be. So I'll lean San Diego on the money line. You're getting a good price for C's, I will say. This is probably a first 5 play because I almost said the I word. The Guardians are, a far better bullpen, taxed or not. I don't even think they're that taxed. I think they pitched like 3 guys yesterday, and they obviously had a break off, so they're good. But even if they are taxed, a way better bullpen than San Diego, right? So to me, it's like you're getting the better pitcher, maybe the slightly better offense as of right now, but I don't want to go into those later innings. I don't want to trust the San Diego bullpen or anything like that. So it'd probably be a first 5 money line play for San Diego. I like the Nerfy here in this spot as well. And then in terms of the total, I don't necessarily think the Guardians or the Padres put up historic numbers today. So I'll lean towards the under. My one concern kind of comes back to what I said. Like, can the Padres let up a bunch of runs late in the game? I mean, yesterday was 7-0, right? But 6 runs? Yeah, they scored 8 of their 7. No, 6 of their 7 came in the 8th inning. Like, I don't want to trust the late innings for the Padres here. So I'll go under, but maybe it's a first 5 under. So it's probably first 5 all the way around, as well as the Nerfy that I'm leaning in this game. All right, if you guys made it this far into the video, go ahead and comment 20. Yesterday, we asked, the favorite player that wore number 23, and we got a bunch of cool answers. I think my favorite one, and it came from multiple people, was Devin Hester, which, what an absolute goat of a kickoff and punt returner there. Guys, 20. Who do you think of when you think of 20? What athlete? Doesn't have to be baseball. It doesn't have to be any sport specifically, right? When you see 20, what player do you think of? I think I said this one before, and I said there's so many good 20s out there, but growing up as the Celtics, obviously being my favorite team, and that run between, I guess you could say the big 3, but I was going to say that 08 finals run, obviously a couple years afterwards, and they didn't win it as well, but Ray Allen kind of stole 20 from me, but not stole, but I had so many 20s in my mind, and all of a sudden it's like, I think of Ray when I think of 20. So let me know in the comments what athlete you think of when you think of number 20. Who is the first person to come to mind? It doesn't have to be who the best 20 is all time. It's who do you associate that with immediately, right? So let me know there, and comment 20. But yeah, we're looking at Kansas City taking on the White Sox here. Not exactly a spot in which I'm considering betting. Maybe Kansas City in some sort of a money line parlay again, because they have the better pitcher, the better bullpen, and the better bats here in this spot. They're not a single play for me, though. They're priced out at minus 218. So not necessarily something I'm loving there. In terms of the total, I think Kansas City might score a lot of runs, but maybe Chicago, first 5 team total under, depending on what you can get it at. Like, I think that Chicago's going to have a tough time against Brady Singer, who's going to throw a lot of sliders. Chicago stinks at that. Sinkers, they stink at that. Fastball, I mean, Chicago's one of the worst, if not actually it is the worst lineup in baseball, right? So overall, I'd say anything Brady Singer throws at them, they should have trouble with. So I'll look at their team total under, but not necessarily for a full game. I might just go first 5. If we can get it at like 1.5 for a decent price tag, then maybe we'll end up rolling with. All right, Twins taking on Milwaukee. This should be a good one because we have Pablo Lopez on the mound for the Twins, which I still like Pablo Lopez. A lot of people, don't think he's all that great. He's had a decent run. He had one bad start in his last 4 or 5 or so, and it was against Houston, right? It was like a barn-burning game. I'm still on the Pablo Lopez train. I think he is like a A-plus pitcher. Going up against Freddie Peralta, who I like as well. So you have 2 good pitchers on the mound, 2 guys that give you just fastball, who can take more, who can, who bends the knee. I'm excited for this matchup. Overall, though, both lineups should be able to hit the fastball as well. So I think that you're looking at an immediate over. I love both these pitchers. I get it, but it's not like they're the junk throwing, like they're not going to put guys on their knees, right? 7.5 seems like a really low total for this game. So even though I like the pitchers, I'm not fading them, but backing both these Twins and the Brewers offense. So first thing I looked at was the over here. I know 2 good pitchers, but I would expect this line to be at like 8.5 based on the offenses. When it comes to which team I do truly want to side with, you have 2 good bullpens as well. I'm thinking I go, Pablo versus Freddie. I'll take Pablo. I'll take the Twins bats. I'm going to lean towards Minnesota first 5 money line. Both bullpens are good, like I said, so anything can happen late in the game. I'd still lean towards Minnesota full game money line, but I think I might isolate it to the first 5. But yeah, overall, I really don't mind taking a peek at the over in this spot. I'll sound the psycho alert alarm. Maybe it's crazy. You have two good bullpens, two good starting pitchers, but I'm really trusting the two good bats that we have on both sides here as well. All right, Chicago taking on Arizona. The Chicago Cubs taking on Arizona here. We have Zach Gallen on the mound going up against Kyle Hendricks. Obviously, should be a pitching advantage here for the Diamondbacks, though. We could definitely say that Gallen, since coming back, has not been all that great. He had one good start and then kind of has gotten shelled. I think they played the Dodgers, Atlanta, and then Toronto, right? So, not offenses you tip your nose at, but he still, I would say, should have been a little bit better than he has been. But overall, he's going up against Kyle Hendricks, who you could just make the same argument, right? Like, he can be just as, erratic and anything like that. He's had a couple good starts in a row against, I think it was the Angels and then St. Louis, so not two fearful lineups. Overall, I think you're getting a decent price for what I would consider the better pitcher, but more or less, I would bet the Diamondbacks today based on their offense. They get the win yesterday too, but they should have no trouble hitting against Hendricks here in this spot. So I don't want to be stuck betting, them. When you look at Hendricks, he has 207 plate appearances against this current Diamondbacks roster, average against of 255, kind of middle of the road, right? Ex-WOBA of 335, ex batting average here, so expected batting average 275, 441 slugging, like only a K rate of 17.4. I don't necessarily like the spot for him overall, so I think Arizona gets to him, which kind of leads me into a total here of maybe backing the Diamondbacks team total over. That way we kind of strip Gallen out of the equation, because again, I like Zach Gallen. He's an awesome pitcher, has not been the most consistent, so maybe we kind of make the hybrid play of Diamondbacks team total over, so we're backing Arizona, not having to worry about Zach Gallen, you know what I mean? All right, Dodgers taking on the Red Sox. I was so close to pulling the trigger on the over yesterday. Glad I didn't. It was a 4-1 game, and didn't even look like promising at first, right? After 5 innings, I think it was a 1-0 Red Sox. So I'm very glad I did not pull the trigger on that one there. That would have obviously been an L. Overall here in this spot, though, you have Rebelsi on the mound going up against Brian Bayo. I want to think that Bayo is starting to get better. But even in a spot like this, right, you're thinking, okay, even if Bayo's getting better, all this, Rebelski's a left-handed pitcher, and the Red Sox have not been all that great against lefties, so it's tough to get to them here. But again, like I'd say in yesterday's spot, I was like, well, this Red Sox team, they are hot, though they've now kind of cooled off. They're kind of, every other, they're winning and losing. But for plus 120, if Bayo pitches okay, and if the Red Sox have some clutch hits, maybe it's a good spot. So price-wise, I like the Red Sox. But if you're betting this from, looking at each team and comparing, there's plenty of paths to get to the Dodgers. So take that what you will. I like the Red Sox here because they're such heavy underdogs, and that's not a biased play, okay? I'm from Boston, but that is truly a price play. It's either plus 120, plus 125. Looks like it could be a spot for the Red Sox. In terms of the total, if you can get this at 9, I've seen 9 and 9.5s out there on the market. If you can get it at 9, I think we could get the double digits today. Rebelski, even though he's a lefty and the Red Sox have struggled, they should be able to get to him. And then Bayo, he's been better, but Brian Bayo, say that 10 times quick. I will say he definitely has his struggles and his demons to deal with. So I lean towards the over in this spot. But again, a lot of question marks here. Is Bayo going to be okay? Rebelski, how's he going to be? Can the Red Sox bat a lefty? You know what I mean? So maybe there's too many question marks to put our own hard-earned money on it. You know what I mean? So maybe we just stay away from this one. But those are spots in which I am leaning. All right, Braves St. Louis game 2. We kind of already talked about it. The way that I'd play this is just by taking the Cardinals in both games. Like if I'm betting Cardinals in one, I'll bet them in the other. Yes, you can go down easily and lose both of those, but I do think it's tough to beat a team twice, never mind beating them twice in the same day. So if you can get the underdog both times, even if they win one of those games, you should either break even or make slight profit. That's how I'd play this. Same thing applies for the, actually, this one I'd probably like, Braves team total under a little bit more. It's what we liked yesterday, Sonny Gray on the bump. So maybe that's also a play that could kind of stand alone. But overall, considering this a doubleheader, I don't love to touch doubleheaders with a 10-foot pole, really. Of course, the one time I lean towards Colorado, they end up winning. They win yesterday 7-3. Today should be a different story, and I say should, and it should be a different story. Logan Webb on the mound going up against Kyle Freeland. What I will say is Kyle Freeland's been pretty good at home this season, even though he's not a very good pitcher or anything like that. But Logan Webb should be able to dwarf this Colorado offense, especially because they just scored, 7 runs. They are at home, so we should see more runs. I understand that, but overall, I'm trusting Logan Webb here in this spot. I like San Francisco. You probably would have to take them on the run line if you do need to bet it today. Minus 160 money line doesn't seem like it has all that much value. the one thing I will say is they have not won by 2 runs in 8 of their last 9 games, I believe. So San Francisco not looking all that great, whereas Colorado's kind of been covering 4 of their last 6 games. They have kept it or won to that +1.5 line. So not exactly the best spot in terms of trends there, but Logan Webb, I'm putting a lot of trust in him here in this spot. The total, I'll say Colorado team total under. I know they scored a bunch yesterday, but I'm kind of fading that. They've been scoring a decent amount of runs, so maybe all of a sudden Logan Webb says, you know what, time to quiet you guys down. So I'm trusting him today a lot, obviously. All right, Seattle taking on Houston. Decent game yesterday. I mean, 3-0. I leaned towards Houston because I really couldn't fade the bats there. We had the first 5 under as well. That obviously cashed. So I like this spot. I really like when Seattle plays Houston. I think they're really entertaining overall. Now on the mound today, we have George Kirby going up. I believe it's George Kirby, if I'm not mistaken, right? Let me double check that. George Kirby going up against Framber Valdez. So should, again, be a pretty good spot there in terms of pitchers, right? So maybe we look at another first 5 under, that type of thing. I also don't mind the Nerfy in this spot either. What I would say from a money line perspective, though, is if you're going to continue to, give the Astros plus money, I know they have the worst pitcher on the mound, right? But for plus money here, I'll take the Astros bats over Seattle's bats. And it's kind of weird saying take the bats, right? Because obviously, I'm not saying many runs are going to be scored. I trust Kirby, and I like the first 5 under. But, when big hits have to happen and that type of thing, I trust Houston over Seattle. So, just like yesterday, a 3-0 game, right? Could see something similar like that. Houston scores when they need to, just not constantly. So, I'll take the under, Houston money line, because we got that plus money in the first 5 under as well. I'd consider the Nerfy, but, Houston has such power that one swing of the bat could kill the Nerfy, but it wouldn't kill, like, the first 5 under. You know what I mean? So, I'd consider that as well. But keep an eye on the pinned comment. And yeah, guys, it's going to wrap it up for today's show. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and appreciate everyone tuning in. Again, shout out to my guy over at the doors of Ciso there. That was pretty cool saying what's up to you. So shout out to you. Shout out to everyone else. We'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.